An executive order is a directive issued by the President of the United States that manages operations of the federal government. The legal basis for executive orders comes from the Constitution. Article 2 of the Constitution grants the President broad executive power. This power allows the President to issue orders that are legally binding. Executive orders are generally used to direct federal agencies and officials in their execution of laws passed by Congress, or to exercise the President's authority in a particular area. While they carry the force of law, executive orders are different from laws passed by Congress in several important ways. Firstly, executive orders can be unilaterally revoked or altered by a sitting or future president, while laws passed by Congress require legislative action to repeal or amend. Executive orders cannot create new taxes or appropriate funds from the Treasury, as those powers are specifically reserved for Congress. They also cannot contradict or supersede existing laws passed by Congress. Despite these limitations, executive orders have played a significant role throughout American history in shaping public policy, influencing the federal bureaucracy, and responding to national emergencies. Executive orders play a crucial role in the U.S. government. They provide a mechanism for presidents to act swiftly and decisively, especially in times of crisis or when faced with congressional inaction. When Congress is politically gridlocked or slow to address pressing issues, presidents often turn to executive orders as a way to circumvent the legislative process and implement their policy agenda. This power to act unilaterally, however, is not unlimited and exists within a framework of checks and balances inherent in the U.S. system of government. While executive orders carry the force of law, they are subject to judicial review. This means that federal courts, up to and including the Supreme Court, have the power to strike down executive orders that they deem to be unconstitutional or exceeding the scope of presidential authority. Congress also has the power to overturn an executive order by passing a law that contradicts or nullifies its provisions. However, this method faces a significant hurdle as it requires a presidential signature. If a president is determined to enact their policy via executive order, they can veto any congressional attempt to overturn it, requiring a 2/3 majority vote in both chambers to override. Throughout U.S. history, presidents have used executive orders to address a wide range of issues, from matters of war and national security to social justice and economic policy. Some of the most consequential and well-known executive orders have left an indelible mark on American society. One such example is the Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Abraham Lincoln in 1863. This landmark executive order declared the freedom of slaves in Confederate states during the Civil War, marking a pivotal turning point in the fight against slavery and for the soul of the nation. Another significant example is President Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066, issued in 1942. This order authorized the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II, a deeply controversial policy that resulted in the forced relocation and imprisonment of over 100,000 people based solely on their ancestry. Executive Order 9066 stands as a stark reminder of the potential for abuse of executive power, even in times of national crisis. In more recent times, President Harry Truman's Executive Order 9981, issued in 1948, desegregated the U.S. Armed Forces, paving the way for greater racial equality in the military. President Lyndon B. Johnson's Executive Order 11246, issued in 1965, established affirmative action, requiring federal contractors to take proactive measures to ensure equal employment opportunities for minorities and women. These examples illustrate the profound impact that executive orders can have on the lives of Americans and the direction of the nation. The power of executive orders lies in their ability to effect change swiftly and decisively. Presidents can use them to set policy priorities, direct federal agencies, and address pressing national concerns without having to navigate the often lengthy and complex legislative process. This flexibility makes executive orders a valuable tool for presidents seeking to make their mark on government and implement their agenda. However, the power of executive orders is not absolute and is subject to various limitations. As mentioned earlier, both Congress and the judiciary have the power to check and potentially overturn executive orders. Congress can pass laws that contradict or nullify specific provisions of an executive order, although this requires overcoming a potential presidential veto. The judiciary, through the process of judicial review, can invalidate executive orders that are deemed unconstitutional or exceeding the scope of presidential authority as defined by the Constitution. Further limitations on executive orders stem from the fact that they cannot create new taxes or appropriate funds from the Treasury, as those powers are specifically delegated to Congress. They also cannot contradict or supersede existing laws passed by Congress. Despite these limitations, executive orders remain a powerful tool for presidents seeking to shape public policy and exert their influence on the federal government. The use and legacy of executive orders continue to be a subject of debate and scrutiny, reflecting the ongoing tension between presidential power and the checks and balances inherent in the U.S. political system.